Hello to all that may come across this video. Welcome to the Civil Insurgent. With so much going on in America's social and political world today, there is more to talk about than there is time to talk about it. Let's get into this story. COVID-19 data from early on in the pandemic was removed from an NIH database at the request of a Chinese scientist. Jesse Bloom, an American professor and virologist who consults for Moderna as well as Flagship Lab 77 on viral evolution and deep mutation scanning, posted evidence that critical data from the earliest patients with confirmed COVID-19 was deleted. This points to eliminated key information on where the virus originated and how long it had been spreading in its early stages. A preprint study published on June 18th states the origin and early spread of SARS-CoV-2 remains shrouded in mystery. The author identified a dataset containing sequences from early on in the Wuhan epidemic that had been deleted from the NIH's Sequence Red Archive. Bloom found that there were 45 positive samples that were among the deleted files. 13 partials were ultimately recovered from the Google Cloud, and reconstruction of those partial sequences as well as a phylogenetic analysis along with existing data suggest that the Huanan seafood market sequences that are the full focus of the Joint World Health Organization and China report are not fully representative of the virus within Wuhan from early on in the pandemic. Instead, the origins of known SARS-CoV-2 sequences likely contain 3 mutations relative to the market viruses that made it more similar to SARS-CoV-2 bat coronavirus relative. Now that more and more continues to come to light, we're learning that the virus had most likely been spreading prior to the suggested wet market beginnings. This latest evidence from Bloom seems to confirm what many have believed from early on in the pandemic, that the wet market may not have been the virus's point of inception. With the Wuhan lab just across the street from the market that just so happens to study virology, as well as allegedly partake in gain-of-function research, we've also seen video evidence of bats from inside the lab after being told that there were no bats there, misleading studies and investigations from EcoHealth, who is on the forefront of the coronavirus research, the same EcoHealth that received money from Google, as we learned yesterday. If this whole situation isn't a big enough mysterious cluster yet, there's more reports of newly enforced lockdowns in South China, with the major cities in China are reportedly being hit by a resurgence of COVID-19 despite their draconian lockdown measures. Residents in the 4 richest cities in southern China's Guangdong province were caught off guard when authorities suddenly imposed new lockdown measures, leaving residents scrambling for food and supplies. There's been reports of planes being grounded, cargo ships that aren't able to enter or leave harbors, and authorities that are tightening up on entering and exiting the region. All while China's state media is only reporting 230 people currently being treated at local hospitals and a total of 168 infections since May 21st, with only 1 new infection being reported on June 22nd. Despite the low numbers and lockdown reports coming from China, there has been reports on a new Delta strain of COVID spreading like wildfire all over the world, as Dr. Fauci now claims the same variant will be dominating the U.S. soon. We'll have to stay tuned here in the States to see how the newest outbreak and new information on COVID will change the Biden administration's stance when pushing for the truth on origins of the virus, since Jake Sullivan has stated no pressure will be applied on Beijing. Well, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you on the next story.